July 14, 2019, at the Schönbrunn Zoo in Vienna, Austria, a 4-year-old boy named Luca climbed over a 1-meter-high barrier, pushed through the steel mesh, and fell 6 meters into the zoo's lowland gorilla enclosure. Inside, the alpha male, Bruno, an 18-year-old silverback weighing 210 kilograms, had been living at Schönbrunn since his transfer from Berlin Zoo in 2015. The incident sparked concern as spectators watched in horror, fearing for the child's safety when surrounded by powerful primates. Descending the steep embankment into the 6-meter-deep gorilla enclosure at Schönbrunn Zoo, Bruno entered the knee-high water where 4-year-old Luca stood trembling and disoriented. Instantly, the 210-kilogram silverback assumed a protective stance. He turned his massive silver-crowned back toward the crowd's cacophony, flared his powerful arms to form a living barrier, and absorbed the roar of shouting spectators, clicking cameras, and urgent keeper commands. For several minutes, Bruno stood unmoving, his broad torso shielding Luca from the chaos above as the boy's tears slowly eased into stunned silence. Then, guided by instinctive care, Bruno knelt in the shallow, rippling water, gently wrapped his enormous fingers around the fabric of Luca's shirt, and lifted him clear of the trench. Under the dappled midday light reflecting off the moat's surface, the gorilla maintained unwavering eye contact, conveying calm authority. He began to carry Luca along the rocky bottom, moving slowly and deliberately, each step measured, each pause an opportunity to adjust his grip and reassure the frightened child. As they traversed roughly 8 to 10 meters toward a sloping exit ramp, zookeepers raced down the incline, anxiously awaiting their arrival. Approximately 10 minutes after Bruno's initial descent, the pair emerged onto solid ground, where keepers swiftly scooped up Luca, who, to everyone's relief, was largely unharmed save for a few minor scrapes. Zoo veterinarians quickly ruled out the use of a tranquilizer dart. Sedative drugs can take several minutes to take effect and might have sent Bruno into a panic, risking him tumbling on top of Luca or lashing out unpredictably. Faced with no safer alternative, and with the boy's life hanging in the balance, a senior keeper made the agonizing decision to use a single, well-placed shot to fatally neutralize Bruno. The firearm was aimed at the gorilla's heart from an elevated platform, ensuring maximum accuracy and minimizing collateral risk. Within seconds of the shot, Bruno collapsed, and keepers rushed into the enclosure to retrieve Luca. Though the decision was harrowing, it ultimately guaranteed the boy's safety. Luca suffered only minor injuries and was swiftly handed over to awaiting medical personnel. Zoo officials later emphasized that the choice to employ lethal force was driven solely by the immediate need to protect human life, underscoring the tragic dilemma inherent in such high-stakes wildlife emergencies. Emergency responders swiftly carried Luca from the enclosure and rushed him to Vienna General Hospital, where doctors confirmed that despite the traumatic fall and chaotic rescue, the 4-year-old sustained only minor scrapes and bruises and faced no life-threatening injuries. News of his survival was met with relief, but it also ignited a fierce public debate. Critics accused Luca's parents of negligent supervision, insisting they should have kept a closer watch at all times, while animal welfare advocates condemned the decision to fatally shoot Bruno, a healthy endangered silverback whose protective instincts had arguably saved the boy's life. Amid these clashing viewpoints, more than 150,000 concerned citizens signed an online petition demanding stronger, standardized barriers and enhanced safety protocols at zoos across Europe. Supporters argue that higher fences, reinforced mesh, and increased keeper patrols could prevent similar incidents without resorting to lethal force against captive wildlife. Zoo officials, meanwhile, have vowed to review enclosure designs and crisis procedures to strike a balance between visitor access and animal welfare. As Luca recovers at home, the broader conversation continues: how to ensure the safety of families and the protection of rare species in environments meant for education and conservation. Many anthropologists argue that Bruno's behavior toward Luca was motivated by curiosity and a protective instinct, not aggression. When the boy fell into the moat, Bruno descended into the shallow water and, rather than attacking, stood guard over him, flaring his broad back toward the crowd to shield the child from noise and commotion. Experts note that silverbacks often display caregiving gestures within their troop, and this episode mirrored similar protective responses observed in wild populations. These findings draw on decades of field research into gorilla societies, where alpha males regularly intervene to protect younger members, reinforcing group cohesion and survival. However, the grace of these movements belies the gorilla's immense physical power. An adult male weighing over 200 kilograms can inflict catastrophic harm with a single unintended motion. Even a gentle stroke from Bruno's massive hand could have pinned Luca against a rock or wall with life-threatening force. This duality, empathetic concern tempered by raw strength, highlights the unpredictable nature of close encounters between small children and large wildlife. While anthropologists celebrate Bruno's selfless instincts, they caution that human guardianship remains paramount. No matter how benign a wild animal's intentions, its sheer body mass transforms every interaction into a potential hazard. The incident at Schönbrunn Zoo underscored a stark reality. The existing barriers are neither tall nor robust enough to contain primates of such immense strength. A 1-meter fence topped with steel mesh proved inadequate when a curious 4-year-old could breach it, and a 200-kilogram silverback like Bruno could descend into the enclosure. Enhancing perimeter walls, reinforcing mesh with thicker gauge wire, and raising barrier heights are essential steps to prevent future tragedies. Beyond visitor safety, every captive gorilla represents a critical link in a carefully managed conservation program. With fewer than 100 lowland gorillas in European zoos participating in coordinated breeding efforts, the loss of a single individual erodes years of genetic planning and dims hopes for long-term population viability. Strengthening enclosure security, then, is not merely a matter of public protection. It is integral to safeguarding the future of an endangered species.